All right. So I think it might be nice to be supported today. So we'll come to a lying position. So go ahead and come to the floor. If you have a pillow handy, you're welcome to put a pillow under your head or anything that might give you a little bit more comfort and ease as we start this morning. Coming down and just finding where the body falls today. So you can comfortably just take those legs apart, extend them down towards the ground. Arms can be sort of away from the body. If that doesn't feel good, you're always welcome to bend your knees and keep those feet flat on the floor. You're welcome to also close your eyes if you'd like, or just soften the gaze, taking the gaze down towards your chest. So find that position of ease and comfort. And then just let go. This morning, I'd like you to tap into your sense of sound. So now that maybe your eyes have softened or closed, you might start to just listen. And then with that listening, see if you can hear your own breath. Might be more so on the exhale than the inhale, or vice versa. And as you listen for your breath, just become aware of how your breathing is this morning. And of course, there could be other sounds around you. You might hear a clicking of a clock, movement around your home, animals, kids. You might hear the birds outside, hopefully. And just allowing the sound to bring you into the present moment. I invite you to take maybe the biggest breath you've taken all day. So a nice deep inhale through the nose and a nice releasing exhale through the mouth. Go ahead and make it audible if you'd like. Let's do it again. Another deep breath in and a releasing breath out. Start to bring a little movement into your wrists. We'll just start giving those wrists a little rotation. Can rotate one way. Again, just try to focus on the wrists, not the fingers. And then the opposite way, because the tendency is the fingers want to join in too. So see if you can just concentrate on those wrists. Now drop those wrist rotations and take that rotation into the ankles. Rotating those ankles one way and then the other way. Really nice motion through those ankles. And then you're welcome to keep your eyes closed as you lie here, but if you want, you can slowly bat them open. We'll bring our awareness to our lower body to begin with today. So if your knees aren't bent yet, go ahead and bend them, plant your feet onto the ground. Bring the feet nice and close together. So seal those feet up together and then just allow those knees to sort of come from side to side. So not bringing the knees to the floor, but just a little bit of movement, bringing a bit of rotation through the hips and the pelvis. And that as one side goes over, the other side will lift off the floor. So allow that to happen to get a little bit of movement through that low back, through the pelvis and hips. Great. Then come to stillness, bringing those knees now up towards the chest. Just give yourself a nice little hug. You can have your hands below the knees or under, behind on the thighs. Just trying to get yourself into a nice tight little ball here. If you want, peel that head off the ground. Chin, nose, and forehead can come up, and bring the head and forehead up. Trying to keep softness through the shoulders and neck as best you can. Getting a nice long round through the spine. Remembering that breath, it's always there. Make sure you come back to it. We want to find ease in our breath. Go ahead and drop those feet down. And we'll come to bringing our left knee up off the ground. So lift it up so that the left shin is parallel to the floor. And then slowly bring that left ankle onto the right thigh and just sort of move that left knee forward and back, just almost like it's a fan coming side to side, just getting a little bit of openness and movement before we go into sort of the full figure four position. Really flex through that left foot as well. Try not to make it too limp. Make it so that it's engaged and pressing into the top of that right thigh. Good, and then come to pause wherever that knee wants to land, whether it be a bit further back than where you started or not. And then lift up the heel of the right foot. Keep the toes on the ground for a moment. And then as you're ready, just see what happens to the rest of your body when you lift that right leg up. So the right leg comes up. Do you tense through the neck, the shoulders, the abdominals? What's happening? Just be curious, no judgment, just simply seeing what happens as we kind of up the ante here as we lift that right leg up. You're welcome to thread those hands through, grab behind the thigh, take that gaze up if you want, deepen that stretch, or keep the head down and the hands down, whatever feels good in your body this morning. Again, we're just trying to open up the hips, warm them up a little bit. Dropping that right foot down, release the left leg, and we'll come over to the right side. So lifting that right leg up parallel to the floor, flexing that foot and bringing the right foot onto the left thigh. Fan that leg now on the right-hand side, open and close, open and close. Just see kind of what's happening on this side. And then come to a pause wherever that knee wants to land. Active pressure from that right foot onto the left thigh. Peel that right heel up off the ground. And then again, just kind of be aware what happens as you lift that left leg up. I can feel sensation coming in the front of my neck. So just kind of like, just kind of tightens. So if you feel any points of tension in your body as you lift that left leg up, just try to soften and just see if you can move a little bit to sort of release any of that extra unneeded attention. Because really, we're just working on the hips, not the neck. Good. And if you want to thread those hands through that little hole back behind the thigh, tuck that chin and lift the head up to intensify that. You're welcome to. Again, we're just trying to get some space through those hips this morning. And then dropping that left leg down, releasing the right leg. Take those feet close together once more, kissing the big toe and the heel, and then let the knees fall out to the side. You're going to come onto the pinky side of your feet, pressing both bottoms of your feet together. Nice big open, we call butterfly or cobbler's pose. This is recline cobblers. And then if you feel comfortable enough there, you might need to adjust the feet a little bit. They can go further away for a little less tension or further into the groin, so coming towards the body for a bit more stretch. So you decide. Kiss all those toes together, big toe, middle toes, and pinky toe. And then if you can, allow the arms to just come up for a moment overhead and then back down. So make it a bit of dynamic movement as those arms open up above the head and then down towards those knees. Your own pace, your own rhythm. If you want to take it to your breath, you can inhale as you lift the arms up and overhead, and then exhale as you let those arms and fingertips float down. So you decide how that rhythm is. Maybe it's not to the breath simply because you want to go a little faster. Whatever feels good, just to get a bit of movement through those shoulders before we come up off the floor. Awesome. When your hands come down this last time, go ahead and place them on the outsides of the thighs. Go ahead and close those legs together. And then we're going to roll over to the side. So go ahead and just come to your side and press yourself up. And we'll move into the tabletop position. So hands underneath the elbows, elbows underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, pressing down the tops of the feet. Just take a quick glance between the legs and make sure you don't see your feet. And then coming into this nice tabletop position. Engage through the middle, so pull in a little bit, almost like you're trying to just get a little bit of tension there, a little bit of bracing. And then from there, we'll take our left leg and kick it back behind us. So nice and long and strong. Really flex through the heels and try to think that your pelvis is parallel to your mat. Awesome. Bring that left knee back down to meet the right, and we'll go right into that left leg. So press, right leg, bringing that right leg back, flex through the heel. Good work, everybody. Nice long spine, looks awesome. Drop that right knee down, coming right back to the left leg. Straighten that left leg out behind you. And then from here, I want you to imagine that you have one of those smelly markers on your heel of your foot. So my favorite would be probably like that fuchsia color. It's probably raspberry. That's what's on my heel right now. I want you to try to draw circles with that heel on the wall behind you. Just tiny circles, nothing too big. Nothing too big because you wouldn't want your mom to see that you drew circles on the wall, right? Oh, yes, drawing on walls. I do have a memory of that, of myself, not my kids. I did it. Good, and not washable either. Let's rotate, go the opposite direction. Rotate, rotate. And I always like talking about smelly markers because my mom never let me buy them. I always had to get just the Crayola washable ones. So when I was an adult, I bought myself my own smelly markers. So that pink fuchsia one, bottom of my heel. Awesome work, everybody. Drop that motion and bring that left knee down. Automatically kick back into that right leg. Kick it all the way back. Flex that heel. Maybe it's a different color this time. I'm going with the purple. Great. We're going to rotate that heel around, drawing a circle. So really small circle on the back wall behind you. Try to keep the neck nice and long looking down. We're not going to look at those circles that we're drawing because we know that our foot can do it, right? Good, and then switch direction, going the other way. Really try to lift through the chest and hands so that you're not collapsing with that upper body. The leg can be slightly lower, that's fine. It doesn't have to be perfectly parallel to the floor. Feel the heat of that movement, middle in the middle here, then come to a slight pause, drop that right knee down. Excellent, and let's just knock the hips from side to side. Beautiful. Bringing a lot of awareness through those hips. As you can imagine, that's what we're working on today, is going into the hips. Excellent. From here, I'd like you to come down. So walk your hands forward and come down onto your belly for a moment. So really lower down. We'll take our forehead to the floor if you can, and we'll bring our hands out so that our palms are down on the ground. Almost imagine that your arms are the shape of a cape, like a superhero cape. So they're fairly far away from your body, almost like shaping a letter A. From here, I want you to see if you can lift those hands and arms off the ground. So lifting up, coming back behind the body, and then coming right back down. So give that a try a couple times, just trying to see if we can engage those shoulder blades behind us and those shoulders to lift those arms up behind. Now, of course, if you were to narrow your arms, it would become probably a bit more difficult. So just imagine you have a big super woman cape on the back side of your body, lifting up and pulling those arms. Do one more this way. And then take those palms and flip them over. So now palms are facing the ceiling. It feels like your shoulders have rolled forward towards the floor. Again, keep support of that forehead on the ground. If you need a pillow, be sure to grab it. We want to try to keep the integrity of the spine and the neck. Here we go. Let's lift the hands up now with the palms reaching up behind us. So seeing how that feels, if it feels different or the same, just by switching the position of the arms. Maybe you feel that it is a bit more fluid on this side or this way, or about the same. Really press down through that pubic bone to really ground your body down into the ground. The only thing that should be moving are those arms through that shoulder joint. Keep those shoulders down by squeezing those shoulder blades together. Excellent. Go ahead and release those arms to the ground, and we'll just let those fingertips swim above us. So really just get a nice long stretch here on our front side. Really reach the fingertips away from the head, toes away from the belly button. Just try to find some length. Shoulders may creep up towards those earlobes. That's okay. Good. And then bring those arms back. You decide, do you want to keep your palms down or do you want to keep your palms up? So probably the one that you didn't love might be the one that you want to do, but you are your own adult. You decide which position you want. So palms towards the ceiling or palms towards the floor. This time we're going to incorporate the legs. So press heavy into that pubic bone. As you lift those arms up, see if you can lift the legs up, keeping the head down for now. So let that forehead still kiss the floor and then come back down. So what you might feel like you need to do is contract your buttocks first, just a little squeeze, and then lift the arms and legs at the same time. So we're getting about a hip extension and a bit of shoulder extension. We're working that back body quite a bit, and it doesn't get much work. We do so much in front of us in our day-to-day lives. So if you're ready, go ahead and allow the lifting of the head, heart coming forward, everything up, and then back down. So you decide if the head feels better down or lifting in sync with those arms and legs. Awesome job. Do one more time. And then when you're at the top, hold it up. Hold it up. Really sink those shoulders down. Squeeze those shoulder blades together to get as much lift as you can. A little bit more engagement through the buttocks, but don't over clench. We're not here for buns of steel. Lifting for 3, 2, 1. Awesome job. Let it all come down to the floor. Bring those hands under the shoulders. Press yourself up. And then if it feels good in your body, press those hips back towards those heels, or keep those, keep up high. Allow yourself to come into this forward child's pose here. Just releasing the back and getting a little softness. Changing the position of both the hips and those shoulders. Awesome work, everybody. Go ahead and bring yourself back to tabletop. Take your right leg, step forward in between both hands. Tuck the left toes underneath you and then come up to a standing forward fold. So just release yourself, bend those knees really generously, and just allow the body to hang for a minute. Just getting gravity to work for us. Might feel good to move the head from side to side or shaking no and yes. And then take those hands and slowly walk up the shins, cross the knees, the thighs. And then as the head comes up, you might want to roll those shoulders up and back. Beautiful. All right, if you are in the middle of your mat, that's fine. If you want, you can step slightly forward. We're going to work on some forward folds. So from here, hands are going to come either in front of you or out to the side. You decide. We'll take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just let those arms melt down to your side as you hinge forward, slight bend through those knees, and bring that torso down towards the thighs. Hands can land on the shins or the feet, just trying to get yourself in a position where the torso meets the thighs. So this is, again, kind of our first, almost second forward fold. So no need to rush, no need to straighten those knees. And so then as you inhale, I want you to come up so that your torso gets parallel to the floor. Hands can come to the shins. Hands might come to the tops of the thighs. You decide where that is. Nice long through the crown of the head. And then slowly come back down, folding forward, dropping that head. Might want to wiggle a little bit. Might feel good to sort of rock between the 2 feet, just trying to find space. Excellent. And then as you're ready, hands can come to the hips, hands can come out to the side, hands can come overhead to frame the head. Using those legs, press down through the feet and come all the way back up. Drop those fingertips down. Good. And we'll go straight back into that forward fold. So big breath in. Exhale, hinge forward, bending at those hips. All the way down, torso to thigh contraction or connection. Let those hands come down. They don't have to come to the ground. Can stay on the shin. Now see if you can walk a little bit with your feet. So lift your heels, bend those knees. Just see what happens when you bring movement sort of side to side. And then come to stillness. See where you can take your forward, half forward fold now. So slowly come up halfway. Hands might come to shins, thighs, or encourage you. See if you can bring those arms out to airplane. So again, that A frame or that cape behind you, like we did already this morning, reach those fingertips behind you, drop those shoulders down, squeeze those shoulder blades as you come into this nice long flat back half fold. Awesome. Release. Coming all the way down, release those hands down, back into that forward fold. Let the head really be heavy, 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 heavy. Now, depending how your body feels today, it might feel like you want to just walk the hands up the legs, or we've got lots of options. Arms can come out to the sides as we come up. Arms can come up overhead, but as we do, take a really nice deep breath in as we come all the way back up. Go ahead and lower those arms. Awesome. One more time through. Take a deep breath in all the way up. Exhale, let those arms kind of sprinkle down at your sides, coming into that forward fold all the way forward. Drop that head. Now see, can those knees start to straighten a little bit? Maybe they will, or maybe they won't. We might start to feel a bit more pull on those hamstrings, backs of the thighs. We want to have a little bit of tension, but not too much. So we shouldn't be moving into any pain at all. Keep breathing. Listen for that breath. And then your choice, half fold, bringing that torso up to be parallel to the ground. Try maybe again, those airplane arms, really squeeze those shoulder blades together, drop them down and really press those palms up towards the ceiling. Engage through the belly, press down through the feet, and then exhaling, coming all the way down. Nice, strong forward fold, my friends. Here we are in our last one for now. Hold that here, really releasing, just almost ragdolling, letting those arms release, maybe grabbing opposite elbows with opposite hands. And then your choice, walking up with the hands on the legs, hands to the side, or hands overhead. Deep breath in. Here we go. All the way up. Fantastic job. Slowly let those arms come all the way down. Good work. Go ahead and rock forward and back on those feet. You can let the arms swing a little bit, releasing any sort of tension at all. From here now, I'd like you to walk to the front of your mat if you're not there already. We'll face away from our mat. Our toes are almost on the edge here. Imagining you're on the edge of a pool deck, ready to jump into the pool. So right on the edge. From here, we'll take our right leg and step all the way back. Sink down by bending that front knee and just wiggle that foot back so that you're in a high lunge position. If you feel unstable, like I'm right now, go ahead and widen your stance. So that might mean that the front foot wiggles out a bit to the side, just so that you can have really strong base underneath you. So go ahead and see, is that side of your left foot parallel to your mat? Just take a little peek there, and we'll sink into that lunge. Hands can come to the hips just to check and see, where are your hips? Did they open up? Or did we allow those hips to stay square to the front of that short end of the mat? Sink down a little lower. Kick back through that right heel. Sink down. Good. Torso over top of pelvis. Full body experience here. Let's take those arms out to the side in those A's, pressing those fingers down towards the ground. You decide, palms forward or palms back. Maybe play with it for a moment. What does that feel like? Good work, everybody. Feel the strength of your legs. You got this. And then come to stillness with those arms. Are your palms facing forward or your palms wanting to be back? Good work. Squeeze those shoulder blades for 3, 2, 1. Hands come back to the tops of those hips. Power up that back right leg and step all the way forward. Give those legs a bit of a shake out. Fantastic. What we do to one side, we must do to the other. So taking that left foot now, think about that left foot coming back behind you. Big step behind you. Sinking down through that front right knee. Wiggle that back left foot back into that high lunge. Take a check to see where your hips at. Square them to the front of the mat. You might need to walk that front leg out for balance. Good work, everybody. Here we go. Hands come out to the sides into that shape of an A. Drop those shoulders down. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then go ahead and flip. Palm forward, palm back. Palm forward or back. What feels best today in this side of the body? Sink down a little lower if you can. Good. Strong through that front leg. That quadricep on the front leg is doing a ton of work. Feel the heat come up through that body. Engage those inner thighs. What's going on there? Can you squeeze those inner thighs together and maybe lift up through that pelvic floor? Find those hands, land them where they want to be, either palms facing forward or palms facing back. Holding it for 3, 2, 1. Power up that left foot behind you and step all the way forward, dropping those hands to the side. Just take a moment at the edge of this end of your mat to close your eyes for a second. Coming into stillness, catching your breath. Just take a moment to relax. Awesome. We're going back to that high lunge, taking that right leg, step it all the way back behind us. Find that stable base of support. Sink down, down, down. Good work. Knee should be over top of that ankle, not forward too far, okay? So make sure that's happening. From here, bring those arms out to the side, your choice, palm facing away or forward. From here, we're hinging like we did in our forward folds, bringing that torso down to the top of that left thigh. Press back. Lift those hands up back behind you. Lift, lift. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Coming all the way up, strong through the middle. Lift yourself up. Power up that back heel. We're stepping forward. Here we go. Meet those feet together. Relax those arms. Shake it out. And then taking that left leg, step it all the way back behind into that lunge. You know how to do this now. Adjust your base of support. Find that bend. Sink down. Shoulders over pelvis. Hands come out to the side. Maybe flip the palms the different way. Getting ready to hinge at those hips, bringing torso to thigh. Here we go. Hinging, bending, flying over top of that front leg. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Drop those shoulders down. Lift those arms up. Good work, everybody. Get connected to your breath. For 3, 2, soften through the toes. 1. Lift yourself up, up, up. Power up that back leg and come on forward. Awesome job. Release those legs. Shake it out. And now we'll come to the center of our mat. Beautiful, everybody. Whew. That was heat raising type activity. So we'll take our legs and take them about just a little wider than hip width apart. So just kind of find your feet underneath you. Awesome. We'll keep the legs straight and just think about that pelvis facing forward. We'll take our arms here and then bring them back to that A position. So just out from the shoulder, they're not back behind us. And then connect to your shoulder blades. So that's the space, those two sort of big wings on our back, for lack of better words. Try to squeeze them together without bringing the hands back behind you. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and then release. Squeeze. This is hard to demonstrate on Zoom maybe. You can't see it, such a minute little tiny movement. And squeeze. While you're squeezing, trying to keep those ribs down. So I'm not flailing, I'm not arching, just simply trying to squeeze those shoulder blades together. Good, and then come to a position where you've actually squeezed them and hold them. What's happening now at those hands? Can you reach those fingertips closer to the floor? Maybe, maybe not. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good, and then release. Just let those arms dangle for a moment. Now we'll work the opposite muscle group here, or the opposite end of the body. Bring those hands up to prayer position here, elbows out to the side. Now your shoulder blades are spread across your upper back. Press into those fingertips, press into those thumbs as you apply pressure into those hands. So press against yourself. Press, press. Harder, a little harder. Press, press, press. Look for some stillness in those arms. Engagement through that front body. Really opening and spreading those shoulder blades apart. Awesome work. Keep pressing. You got this. For 3, 2, and 1. Great work. Just release those arms. Give yourself a couple like wrist rotations for a moment. If you need, just to release any tension there. Good. Okay, so now this time, as we bring our arms out to the side, I'd like you to try to squeeze those shoulder blades, but then take the arms with you. So initiate the movement first, squeeze, and then try to reach back as far as you can with those arms. Almost imagining that you have a broomstick in your hand and that you're trying to pull that broomstick back behind you. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. As those arms come closer together, you're going to intensify that stretch. So play with the placement of where those hands are as you squeeze those shoulder blades together without lifting those ribs. So we're not arching, we're upright as we bring those arms back. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Excellent work. Feel a real big release through the front of the body. And then slowly bring those hands back down. Excellent. A little bit of brain work now. Take your arms up above your head. Taking your right hand forward, bringing your left arm back. Say, what? We're going to go opposite. Right comes forward, left comes back. Opposite direction. Feels totally weird, I know, but try it. Your brain's like, what are you doing? Opposite arm, so right forward, left back. Try to sync them so that they arrive above your head at the same time. Mind-body connection, here it is. Oh my goodness, yes. And I will share with you, this was an exercise that we did when I swam back when I was like, we'll say I started doing this when I was 8. So I've got the connections, the nervous system connections here to do it. So don't look at me. I'm just simply demonstrating. You find you, because that's the thing is I've done this for years. Okay, bring those arms down. Just release them for a second. Ah, yes. So it is finding those motor neurons to tell us what to do on the opposite of our body. So here we go. Second round, arms up above the head. Left hand this time's coming forward, right hand's gonna go back. Maybe this feels a bit more natural to you. Big arm circles, yes. Looks like Isla wants to go swimming. Got those big arm circles. Amazing. Woohoo. Strong movement through those shoulders, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Synchronizing that. Let's try one more time. Whew. And then let those arms come on down. So if you ever want a party trick, there's your party trick. You can get people to try that. Opposite arm and opposite arms, basically. Yes, alrighty. Let's bring those legs together. All the way together so that we form almost one leg. So nice and narrow. From here, hands on top of the pelvis. We're going to sit those hips back, bending through those knees, come down into a bit of a chair. Drop those shoulders down. Let them relax. They just did a whole heck of a lot of work. Engage through the middle. Takes a little bit more balance here as we are on this narrow base of support. Good. Now, can you lift your right heel? Oh yeah. Whew. A little bit less base of support to hold you here, a little more balance. Drop that right heel down, long through the spine, lifting the left heel off the ground. Good work, everybody. Press that left heel down. Sink back a little lower. Heart forward. Add a smile. And press through those feet, standing all the way up. Awesome. We're going right back down. Here we go. Sitting back, press those hips back, feet glued together, legs glued together with super glue, all the way back. Good. Okay, arms. We know they need to be involved here. Let's go to shoulder height. Lift that right heel. Hold it there. Good. Keep those hips square here. Try not to don't fall into one side. Drop that right heel. Sink lower. Lift up. Right heel, not right, left heel. I'm mirroring you, so I have to tell the opposite to you. Good work. Drop that left heel down. Sink down a little lower. Oh yeah. Press into those feet and stand all the way back up. Whew. One more time. Let's go. Sit back into that chair, all the way back. Sit back, sit back, sit back. Arms, this time, a little different. You know it. It's your old friend. Here we go. Airplane arms. Superwoman cape behind us. Press them back. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. This time, lift your left heel first. Left heel up. Good work. Keep breathing. You got this. Lower it down. Right, not right. Yes, right. We're going right. Right heel up. Sink down, sink down. All right, lower it down. Sink a little lower. Press those shoulder blades together. Reach back. And then allow your gaze to come down. Shift forward onto those toes a little bit. Lift both heels. Oh, yeah. Strong energy here, everyone. Keep with it. Hold it and breathe. Rock back. Allow both heels to come down. And press all the way back up. Whew, whew. Excellent job. Release those legs. Whew. We were building for that final position. Yikes. That was amazing. Great job, everybody. Now we'll focus just a little bit more on our balance before we come down to the floor. Take your feet comfortably apart. If that means a little wider than hip width or narrow, you decide. Bring those arms all the way up to the sky, hinging all the way to the right. Ooh, find some release and tension through that side body. Reach all the way up and come all the way to the left. Good. Reach up. One more time, both sides. Here we go. Make it fluid. Up. And all the way over. Last side bend here. Release. Arms come up. Let's bring them down to our hips. Load into your right leg. Lift your left heel up and slowly bring that left knee up parallel to the ground. So find a little bit of balance here. If you need support of the wall, please use it. Now taking your right hand, place it on to that left thigh. Lifting up tall out of your pelvis, lift up, deep breath in. Then we're gonna rotate from the belly button as we balance. So rotate towards that left leg. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Now, if it's feeling good for you, you're welcome to look over that left shoulder or keep that chin over top of the chest. So you decide what feels good for you this morning. Hold, balance, middle here, engage, and then unspiral that spine. Keep that thigh up if you can. Kick the leg out and slowly lower it down. Good, just take a moment to ground yourself again. Find those feet underneath you. And we'll come to the other side, loading up into that left leg this time. Lifting the heel of that right foot. Trying to keep that pelvis stable as we lift up that right leg. As high as you can, finding that balance, using the wall if you need to. Now taking your left hand to right thigh. I've kept my right hand on my hip, but you could always bring it back behind you if you want. And then inhale in, standing tall. Exhale as you rotate, rotate, rotate around the spine. Chin can stay over chest, or if you want to look over that right shoulder, you're welcome to, depending on where your balance is and how deep you want to go into that twist. Feel a little bit of a wobble through those legs. And then slowly unwind yourself. Kick that leg out if you can. And then come on down. Whew. Balance, release those legs. Just give them a bit of a shake out. And then we'll come really wide, letting those arms sort of swing. And we'll go into a little bit of rotation with those arms, almost like you're a propeller ready to take off. So a little bit of releasing action. And if you want to start thinking about your breath a little bit more, try to sync that breath with rotation. So every time I look to the right, I might inhale, exhale left, inhale, which will make your breath actually quite a bit quicker, and it makes it a little bit more of an intense action, especially for the center of our body. Good. And then slow those arms down. Slow, slow, and then come to stillness. Good work. Let's heel toe our feet in. We'll take ourselves to the front of our mat for one more forward fold to get ourselves down to the ground. So your choice how you get those arms up. Deep breath in. Exhale, fold forward, bringing that torso all the way towards the thighs. Drop the head down. Now, if you can, bend your knees quite a bit so that your hands now touch your mat or the floor. So you're almost getting yourself into a little crouch. Kick back your right foot. Kick back your left foot, coming into a plank pose. If you need to come to your knees, no problemo. You decide what's best in your body today. Holding that plank long through the spine. Really press into all those fingertips and toes. They're your points of contact with the ground. Make sure those elbows, so the armpits of the elbow, so that little crease, are facing each other. So try not to rotate them forward. We want to have them facing each other. Really think about those shoulder blades that we've worked today. Try to sync them together a little bit and then drop the shoulders away from the head. Good work, everybody. Nice long line. Hold it here. Lots of energy here, little shake starting to happen. Hold it, hold it, hold it for 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and drop those knees, untuck those toes, keeping your hips elevated. Simply walk your hands forward. So you might come onto forearms, or you might want to try to extend farther out. So hands can come forward, head can come to the mat. So you might want to decide your best position might be how your head is positioned. So if you don't want to let that head go, or you don't feel like you have that support, I've come up on my elbows now and I'm holding my head as I press my hips back. So it's not really a child's pose. We're going to go into what's called it's kind of like a puppy pose. And we're going to try dolphin to finish up today, which is kind of like downward facing dog, but a little different. So depending on where you are, we're going to walk our hands back a bit so that our elbows come underneath our shoulders. Hips are up, again, stacked over those knees. Now for a hand position, you can have your hands spread wide, fingertips apart, or if it feels better to clasp the fingers together and feel the pinky sides of the hands press into the ground. So you've got like this little fist in front of you underneath your forehead. So once you've found that, tuck both sets of toes and then press your hips up as if you were going to go into downward facing dog. But instead, you're down on your forearms. Adjust your feet as you need to. You might want to come a little wider and really lift those hips up strong through those arms. You're going to feel those shoulders working. Try to keep the stack of the shoulders over top of those elbows. Find that position as best you can and then slowly drop those knees down. This is your choice here. If you want to widen those knees far apart, you can take a wide-legged forward child's pose, or find the best position for you to release that downward facing dog. Not downward facing dog, that was our dolphin pose instead. Forehead can come down towards the mat or stacked, one hand on top of the other. Just get some release. Release. Beautiful. Coming up onto our hands and knees for just a moment here. We'll kick our legs out to the side to allow us to come down onto our bottom, and then go ahead and lower yourself all the way down onto the floor. So releasing down, 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 adjusting, finding that space wherever feels good. And then we'll kick our right leg down straight, keeping the left leg bent. Arms can come out to the side for now. You decide, palms facing up or palms facing down. That left foot is going to either come on top of the right foot, or right leg, as long as it doesn't press on the knee, or just squeeze beside the right thigh. We'll allow that left knee to come over our body. We'll stack our hips on top of the other to allow ourselves to come in quite a generous twist. Press down through that right shoulder, trying to keep it down on the ground. Of course, that left knee is going to be elevated. It does not need to come down towards the floor. So the goal here is to try to get as best of a twist as we can without compromising our body position. Gaze can look up to the ceiling, over the left shoulder, or over the right shoulder. So whatever position feels best for you. Good. And then allow yourself to unwind. Drop that left foot down, bend the right knee, plant the right foot, and then we'll extend that left leg out down towards the end of our mat. We'll come to the other side. So again, that right foot could come on top of the thigh or just squeeze into that left thigh, and then we'll rotate over, press down through that right shoulder. Really try to keep it down towards the ground, because that pelvis is probably a little bit heavier and it wants to pull. Gravity's allowing it to come over, 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 but we don't want to lose that shoulder connection. Gaze can be forward, to the right, or to the left. Good, and then slowly unwind that spine. And we'll come to do the exact same thing on the other side. So straightening the right, bending the left, and just see if we have a bit more space in that twist. As we've done it one time, now we might do it the second time. You might feel a bit more rotation. If you'd like, you can make a connection between your right hand and the outside of your right thigh. Not really pulling, but simply allowing the weight of that hand as you keep that left shoulder down, down, down. See what happens. Try to keep that right leg a bit active too. So press to the pinky side of that foot. And then slowly unwind, straightening the left, bending the right. Allowing yourself to rotate to the left. Left hand may come to left thigh, to right thigh. That's my right thigh. Connection to the floor still, really keeping that right shoulder down, pinky side of the foot connected to the ground. So simply, we're not just letting our body flop to the side. Hopefully you got that with all these cues. I want to keep in somewhat of control here in that body, not just letting it completely flop. Good, and then slowly release. We'll bring both knees up towards the chest now. Just give yourself a little bit of a hug. And this might be a good opportunity to feel the support of the head on the ground, and we'll take our gaze back and forth from shoulder to shoulder. So just looking right to left at your own pace, knowing that there is a natural curve through the neck that still can be maintained. So we're not trying to flatten that curve. Just getting a little bit of movement in that, the backside of the skull, that occipital bone, you'll feel it pressing into the floor as you move from side to side. And then when you're ready, bringing the head back to look up towards that ceiling. Taking that right knee into the body, let that left leg release, either keep it bent or straighten it out. If you've straightened it out, try to keep the foot off the ground. So a little bit more of a lengthening through that front hip on the left side. So try to keep it elevated, and then we'll switch opposite sides. So just switch your grasp to your left knee, left leg, extend if you can through that right. And then we'll just alternate a couple times just to see if we can get that front of the hip to release a little bit more. We did a ton of work through the hips. We worked through those shoulder blades today. Just trying to find a bit of ease through those hips. Awesome. So once you've done an equal amount of times on each side, then we'll bring our feet down to the ground, and we'll finish kind of where we started with that lying cobblers or lying butterfly pose. So allow those knees to open up, bottoms of the feet press together, toes making connection on both sides, dropping those knees down. Again, if you need a little bit more space, you can always open up the legs and make your diamond between your thighs here a bit bigger, or walk those heels closer to the groin. See if you can get a little bit more movement. Those knees do not need to touch the ground by any means. Really try to ground in through the back of your pelvis, that sacrum, trying to balance on the back there equally as best you can. Good. Now, from a final position, some people actually enjoy this position for their Shavasana. So you're welcome to stay here as much as you want. If it's available to you, you might even want to prop your legs where you could have a pillow or a blanket underneath the thigh so that you bring the floor up to your leg. That's an option, or you can simply release this position and straighten those legs out, and finding a nice long body, arms away from the torso, feet comfortably apart, and just finally settling into our final pose. Take this opportunity to find a little bit more comfort, a little bit more ease. If you need to wiggle a little bit to find it, go ahead. And now let's direct our attention back to our sense of sound. If you've closed your eyes, great. If you want to soften the gaze, that works too. And just take a moment to assess, what do you hear? As we move into springtime, as we go outside, hear some wonderful sounds, lots of little chirping away, squirrels, birds, children playing outside. It's a beautiful time to hear lots of wonderful sounds. And as we move into summer, we start to hear potentially other sounds like the frogs. So bringing back our awareness to sound is really quite a powerful tool to add to your toolbox any time of day. You can tap into your sound to bring you to the present. Now listening for your breath. Inhales and exhales. And being okay with stillness. And then as you're ready, taking a moment to bring those hands above your head, finding a nice long release through the body, stretching it out, taking a big breath in, and a releasing breath out. And as you're ready, you can bring those knees into your chest, maybe give yourself a little bit of a hug, and then coming over to one side. And just taking a couple breaths there before coming up to a seated position. No rush. So I hope you're able to enjoy the second day of spring. We're so lucky it's finally spring, getting outside, or maybe just cracking a window to hear all the sounds that are coming from outdoors. All the little chirping that's happening. I know at least in my yard it's happening. Let's take our arms out to the side. Take a deep breath in. Bringing in all the goodness of your practice and bringing it all the way down right to your heart in service to yourself and in for some self-love this morning, this Sunday morning. Bowing your head, looking down to those hands in gratitude to yourself for showing up today, for listening today, and letting your body relax. The light in me sees the light in all of you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste.